Well, I first moved to Fitzroy in about 1987, or maybe it was 88, but it's pretty much the only place in Melbourne that I've spent any period of time. Before Fitzroy, I used to live in St Kilda, and St Kilda was really happening. You know, I was just starting to peter off at the end of the 80s. There was, you know, lots of good bars there. Prince of Wales was still a big punk scene there. There was the Crystal Ballroom in the George Hotel, and there was the Venue. It's huge. You know the Venue?
No, I don't know the Venue.
The Venue was this huge sort of fire trap made out of wood. They used to have these. They used to have bands at.
Yeah.
But that got pulled down, got replaced by this big sort of horrible hotel.
Fitzroy Street again, what's that? Fitzroy Street again, what's that?
Yeah, that was on the Esplanade, but Fitzroy Street then was much better. Yeah, but I think St Kilda got gentrified in a much more brutal way than Fitzroy did, and it happened incredibly rapidly. So when I moved there, it was still really interesting for a country kid. It was like a great way to intersect with Melbourne.
So Fitzroy has been gentrified then. How come you made the move over here from St Kilda?
Well, it was strange actually. I didn't want to come to Fitzroy, right? But I'd had a series of really disastrous share houses. So I needed to live in a share house that was much more stable and maybe with some older people. So I had this friend who now owns a bar on Brunswick Street, but he wanted to move to, been living out in the suburbs, and he wanted to move to Fitzroy because this is where the action supposedly was. Well, there was good cafes and a couple of good bars and stuff like that. Punters Club and Bakers and the Black Cat, Mario's, places like that. Wasn't too many things. This was in 1988 that I first moved here. And anyway, we just walked around Fitzroy looking for a place to live, like looking for signs up for renting places. And I was actually up the other end of Napier Street, so I've lived in 3 places in Napier Street. I live in Napier Street now. Yeah, and I was just walking along and saw a sign up for please look through the window. It was a fantastic house, huge Victorian terrace with a huge garden out the back. So we decided to move in, so we got 4 people together. Yeah, and moved there. And pretty much I've lived in Fitzroy on and off ever since.
So is that why you made the move over to Fitzroy as well? Cafe culture like your friends in the pubs, or I mean, is that what you identify with best, you think?
Yeah, sort of. Like there's lots of really good coffee around here, and that's important, you know. Yeah, and there's also, I suppose, the things I identify with, or the recreational things I do here, is mostly to go to bars. It's a bit of a trap, really, because you end up going to them every night.
Yeah, yeah.
Much work done. Usually the Punters Club or the Napier Hotel, and the Black Cat. I mean, the Black Cat was really special. It was bohemian without trying too hard. I think it was sort of good that it closed down in a way. It sort of had its day.
Have you been back to the revamped Black Cat?
No, horrible.
Yeah, awful cabaret.
Yeah, it's very bourgeois.
Yeah, so I saw my friends when I was in
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. But The only other place that I used to go to quite a lot was Punters Club, which closed down only a few hours ago, actually. And the Evelyn Hotel. The Evelyn Hotel used to be, but that got brutalised as well.
Why do you think that is? What kind of how does Fitzroy fit into a broader kind of shift towards a globalisation? How does it fit in? Where was the Evelyn's demise in the broader picture of the gentrification of Fitzroy?
Well, I suppose it's a big leap, to go from.
Is that not what you mean by you say it's brutalised? So yeah.
Yeah. Well, brutalised is a bit harsh, but it may be for other people that come to Fitzroy. It's great, it's nice, clean pub, and nice, clean, safe music, but if you actually live here, then it's not a really good place to hang out. So it doesn't have a good local vibe. Or you can't just wander in there and know that you're going to meet one or two of your friends, and I mean that's one of the good things about Fitzroy, or even the local pub that I drink at, the publican there. He has pubs in Fitzroy. There's a lot of pubs in Fitzroy. There's probably more here than any other place in the country. Yeah, there's probably more pubs in Fitzroy than anywhere else. They're pretty much a goldmine for anyone that owns one, or anyone that owns one that works. But it's funny how the publicans sort of manage their pubs, especially the more local ones, where they have rules where, 10 or 20 drunk males walk in, they won't serve them, because it sort of, sort of disrupts the sort of intimacy of the locals, the local vibe. Also, big wedding parties, or things like beer cruises, whatever they're called, where you pub crawls.
Yeah.
Yeah. The publicans hate pub crawls. Around here, much everyone's banned them. And the Punters Club used to have a system where the locals actually, if you drank there enough, you got your beer much cheaper than the tourists or the people from the other suburbs.
And a spot for your pool cue as well.
Yeah. But
I mean, yeah. Do you think that this kind of, the difference between, say, a pub like the Evelyn now and something like the Punters or the Napier? I mean, is the difference in how the publicans run the place, or in the way they're set up, some kind of interior design, historical honesty, or I mean, obviously it's pretty hard to put your finger on the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, or whether it's just because you run into your mates there, a union over sticky carpet maybe.
but it's also about creating an environment where people are going to create culture from the ground up. So somewhere where you may play guitar incredibly badly, but there's got to be places, bars and clubs where you can go and just be a complete hack, and sort of, once a pub goes too commercial, it takes away a lot of that sort of local breeding ground for artists and musicians and things like that. Yeah. But you asked before where Fitzroy fits in, especially with gentrification, to a larger picture. it's pretty hard to